Good morning. This is Dr. Mia Lueth. It is approximately 7 a.m. on Wednesday, the 24th of June. And this is why I wish I had certain kind of camera on me at all times, everywhere I go. This phone is a base model, and so I can't download a bunch of stuff. I gotta clear space all the time. I mean, it's mainly to talk to my medical people, because if you looked at all my yes, you would see pretty much it all has to do with my health care. So I don't have the world's best phone, and there was nothing I could do by the time I realized it happened. But I did just have an incident. And here's the thing, people need to understand. I wait to make absolutely sure that what I was seeing is what I'm seeing. You know, some people, they like out of the corner of their eye, they're like, oh, there was something there, but then it disappeared. Okay, you gotta wait, because there are all sorts of things that our minds will do and our perceptive systems will do that are, unique to us who are humans. And okay, you see what I'm saying? So I happen to be outside, and the sun's coming up in the east, and I was just looking at the sky. I'm an amateur sky watcher, but I look at the sky right during the day too, and since the sun's coming up, I could see the sunlight glinting off of an airplane that appeared to be coming from northeast, and looked like it was headed southwest. And I mean, I looked down, or I looked away, and then I looked back, and it wasn't there anymore. So I waited, because it could have gone behind a pole. It could have been just the way the light was, because sometimes, it's like there, but there's some light, the way it reads, and it looks like it disappears, but it doesn't. It's still there. So I kept scanning that quadrant of the sky in every direction. It seemed like to me at least 2 minutes. I just waited to see if it would, if it was just the way the light was. And that sucker was nowhere. It wasn't behind a pole. It wasn't, the light, because if it had been the light, then I would have seen it in that quadrant somewhere. It wasn't moving. It doesn't move fast enough to be completely, gone out of when I just look away for a hot second. Well, this is something that people who want to be paranormal investigators, or who want to, you have to know these things, and you have to be patient. Okay? Because there's a lot of different things that could happen. There's a telephone pole that, and maybe it looked away and it went behind the telephone pole, and it'll come back. Nope, and it wasn't moving downward, so it wasn't behind the trees, because it was level in the sky when I was looking at it. I don't know where the plane went. It just disappeared. I mean, I'll see things occasionally. This is why I wish I had an HD camera strapped to my forehead everywhere I go. Because what? But listen to me carefully, everybody. You can't just assume things. Okay, you have to understand how your perceptive systems work. You have to understand how certain things will appear for a little while. I did a video explaining that when a plane is like coming, when you're at a certain height, like I was on the 3rd floor in an apartment, and I was basically, in that commercial airline path that was probably going to BWI, Thurgood Marshall Airport, right? That, their headlight looks like a star for a little while. But if you wait, okay, eventually it starts coming closer and it gets a little bit lower. And when it got closer to my apartment, it was then you could see the blinking, and then you could see that it was an airplane. You should always look for blinking. Wait. You can't just assume, okay? You have to wait. Give it a good minute. Like, quite literally, time it. If you have to count, like, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, or 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, whatever you gotta do, give it at least a full minute before you even assume anything. And don't assume. No assumptions. You gotta go in with 0 assumptions. Scientifically speaking, a lot of you will do expectation bias, and that's something that you have to control for. Okay? So, I definitely saw an airplane this morning. The sun was glinting off of it because the sun's coming up in the east, so, it's got that, because it was low enough in the sky, it's got that glinty sun on the. And I looked away very briefly, okay, a few seconds, if that, and when I looked back, it was gone completely. No clouds in the sky. Like I said, I waited to see if maybe it was my perception, like the light was hitting it, and I, waited to see maybe it was going behind what looked like behind the telephone pole, but it didn't. And I waited, and I just scanned that area of the sky. Like, I didn't just fall out of the sky. I mean, I don't even think, even if it did, I was looking away, long enough, I probably would have seen it. So, where did the airplane go? I have no idea. I'm not jumping to any conclusions. I'm not making any assumptions. I mean, there might be some tiny, small possibility that, it went behind some trees. However, given the fact that I understand the commercial flight paths around me, which is another reason I'm a sky watcher, because you can start to determine where the commercial flight paths are, and you can kind of assess altitude. I can anyway, and I'm well practiced at that kind of stuff. So in this case, I have to say, a freaking plane just disappeared, man. I have seen some other things, but this is why I wish I had like a good HD camera like strapped to my forehead, but I'm just making note of it, and also reminding people, hey, like, you gotta keep scanning. You can't make an assumption about certain things. A lot of people are not critically thinking. You're learning stuff from TV, and you're not understanding. Like, it was a good 2 minutes before I got up and was like, that plane disappeared. A good 2 minutes. Because I scanned. I just waited and looked at the quadrant of the sky and kept scanning and kept scanning and kept scanning, and there was no sign of that plane. And the way its trajectory was, it really couldn't have gone behind trees. And the speed, and I know it was going, from northeast to southwest. And I waited and waited. Did it go behind the telephone pole? Is the light just, the morning sun? Is it? There were no clouds, so it could not have dipped behind a cloud. I waited at least 2 minutes, just patiently scanning the whole quadrant of the sky. And I am sure. Okay, I wouldn't get online. Okay, I'm a certified paranormal investigator, and I have put examples all the time here to say there's a lot of different factors. And I'm well practiced at looking at the sky during the day and at night. And I know where all the commercial airline routes are. And this plane was headed this way, and it's just gone. So I'm not making any kind of assumption, but I am saying that never, ever, ever jump to any conclusion. Okay? And you have to be trained to kind of understand certain things. And you gotta wait when it comes to certain things in the sky, because, there's little tiny things that's, I've seen some things that don't make sense as man-made satellites. I've said these things, but this one for sure. I wasn't looking far. I didn't look away long enough for it to be, and I looked at the entire quadrant. And it was gone. So I'm not making any assumption. I'm just sort of reporting it, and I'm putting it here. It's something that definitely I don't have any real good real world explanation for it. It's just making a note here and reminding people. Okay, many of you aren't trained scientists. Many of you aren't trained sky watchers. Many of you don't spend time understanding, there's certain paths. Sometimes the military, they kind of maneuver through different, but commercial airlines, I can kind of tell basic altitude. When I'm looking in the sky, I can tell which plane is higher and which plane is lower. This is years and years of practice sky watching, people. Okay, so I did wait at least 2 good minutes. It was probably more than that, but at least 2 to see. Maybe it went behind tree. All the things that have normal everyday explanations started getting ruled out during those 2 minutes. And at some point I had to rule everything out, and that plane just up and disappeared. Just making a note, the time and date. Okay? Please don't make assumptions, everybody. Okay? You kind of have to do it the way I'm saying to do it. And this is why I wish I had an HD camera strapped to my forehead. Anyway. Alright, well, here I'm sending out some love. Love to you. Come on. Accept, receive. I got plenty of that. I share. Spread the love around. You know what I'm saying? Come on. You can accept. You can accept and receive. I know, even if you've done some cruddy things, it doesn't matter here. Just accept and receive. You understand? Alright. So, Again, I'm Dr. Mia Lueth, and I'm just documenting a process in which I came to the conclusion that an airplane disappeared this morning. And I'm in Elkton, Maryland. Alright, thanks, bye.